How often you're working on a track and halfway through you run out of ideas? The 3 production techniques in this video will help you come up with insane drum patterns in literally minutes. They help my clients finish tracks much faster, which means they play more gigs, they release music on record labels, and got the music played on the radio. Technique number 1. This is actually a bonus technique, because who doesn't like that? So there will be 4 techniques in this video. Some people will call this technique cheating, but I want you to think of it like this. Imagine you're building a house. You will use a blueprint with a proven structure and components. Every house has walls, rooms, and windows, but you still need to decide what color to paint the walls, choose window frames, and furniture you like. And that's what gives your house its personality. And also, you wouldn't start building a house without a blueprint, right? So if you make dance music, why not use a structure of a track you know works on the dance floor? This is how I would do it. So I have here a track by Justice called Generator from the new album Hyperdrama. I won't play it so I don't get into any issues, but that's not the point. We only want the structure of the track. So if I go to the beginning of the track, I can see that this is the intro, and the drop is already after 2 bars. And then I can see here we have a transition, another transition here, and I will quickly do the entire track. And now I have a template to write my track into, which makes it a lot easier. So if you often get stuck, you can do this, but you can also download my free guide for overcoming creative blocks down below. Technique number 2. So now you have laid down a structure for your track, but your drum patterns just sounds repetitive, you feel stuck, and ideas just aren't flowing. The next technique will help you create infinite drum patterns in a matter of minutes. So this is how it works. You all have a bunch of amazing percussion loops. Don't lie to me, I know you have shitloads of samples. But just dropping them into your track is not going to work well, as you can't quite slice them without it sounding weird. Let me show you why. So I have here a drum loop for my sample library. I can't really cut the kick and use it in my production because it's layered with a crash. And then you have like these little hi-hats which are layered on top of the kicks and the snares. And also, this doesn't fit my production style. Why not just copy the rhythm and use my own samples? So I started by placing a kick when there is a kick in this sample. Then I wanted to add a clap. Then I also added the hi-hats. But we have a problem here, because yes, we have a great rhythm, but it still sounds kind of amateur. Technique number 3. So this technique will help you to take your drum patterns from sounding amateur to professional. At this point of my career, I've analyzed hundreds of tracks, and the one common theme that differentiates between an amateur track to a professional track is the attention to details. One of those details is layering your drums, which helps to keep your track dynamic. So you can go from a drum pattern that sounds like this to this. Let's break it down. Let's start with the clap. So we started with this clap. The first thing that you can notice is that this clap has a fade on it, whether this clap doesn't, which adds a little bit of a groove. Then I thought maybe it's missing a little bit of body, so I've added this clap. It's already sounding a little bit more groovy. It's almost like 2 people are playing that. But it wasn't enough, so I had to add another layer. And then I wanted to add some high frequencies, so I added this layer. That adds a lot of interest, and this is a great way to inject some energy into your track. And by the way, in my course Start to Finish, there is a detailed video explaining how to do this type of layering. So let's continue with our hi-hat. We had this one to start with. Let's add a shaker, another hat, and one more. Let's add the extra hat and the ride. And the clap. And the kick. And let's compare it to the other sample. But that's not all. Technique number 4. I want to take this even further and create a drum pattern that no one has ever made before. Because, let's be honest, it feels really good to make something unique. So, for this technique, all you need is a one-shot sample and any delay or reverb plugin or multi-effect plugin. It really doesn't matter because we are going to use a preset. I'm going to use this clap and I'm going to use this plugin. It's called Filterverse, and it has a bunch of filters. Some of them are very creative, such as a delay, a reverb, distortion, frequency shifter. You get the idea, it has a lot of options. But we are going to use a preset, so I'm going to go to the Echo library, and let's just choose a random one. Amazing. Let's record this into audio. Don't worry, it will all be clear in just a moment. So it took me maybe 3 minutes, but I recorded these samples. I also recorded these 2 hi-hats. Now, we really need to do a very simple arrangement. So I started by taking these 2 hi-hats and just placing them every bar. And the fact that they have a little bit of delay and a little bit of reverb on them make them feel really spacious and adds this interesting rhythm that you wouldn't be able to come with otherwise. Let's continue with the claps. So I added this clap every 2 bars. And then I decided to add this in the beginning. And I added this one every 4 bars. But I also had 2 more to play with, so I added this just once. Then I took this sample, I stretched it out all the way, reversed it, I got rid of the actual clap, and placed it in the end of my arrangement. Then added a bit of a fade. And because there are literally thousands delay and reverb presets available, whenever you do this technique, it will always sound unique. But the important thing is like this. Making music is not just about knowing one technique or another. Understanding the bigger picture will help you break through creative blocks and actually make progress with your music career. That's what my program Start to Finish is all about. In addition to the course materials that cover everything you need to know to produce high-quality music, you get access to an exclusive community so you can ask questions, get feedback for your track, and collaborate with other producers. Well, that's all I have to say for now. Go watch this video next if you want to see my full system for finishing every track I start.